Hello, and welcome to another installment of MEDA's Economic Development Week Tributes. I am Heather Graham, president of the MEDA board. And as you know, we decided to extend the celebration of Economic Development Week for 2020 into a 10-week long tribute to economic development. So this week, we are highlighting in this segment Maryland's finance industry, and we are so pleased to welcome with us Chris Rockey from PNC Bank this week. Chris, it's great to have you with us, and I'm going to kick off the interview with a few questions for you.
Great, thanks, Heather.
So tell us a little bit about some of the key programs at PNC that our economic development community needs to know about.
Sure. So I think one of the important programs, and I think it's still very popular, is opportunity zones. And PNC, we still have an opportunity fund. And our fund is a little bit different than some of the national funds in that we're the only fund, I believe, that actually has a CRA lens. So we actually have to show a direct benefit for low-income people or low-income communities. So we can provide both debt and equity. And where we're different is it's kind of inverting that capital stack. If you think about a traditional capital stack, an 80-20 model, we can put 70% as equity, do 20% as debt, and the developer would need about 10%. So we think it's pretty innovative and able to provide sort of that financing, that creative financing that some of these projects that don't quite pencil out can pencil out. That's one I guess that's one project I think it's really kind of germane to the work that your team, you and your counterparts do across the state.
Yeah,
we have
absolutely.
Yep. We have a few other products that are somewhat unique. I don't want it to sound like a commercial for the bank, but we have some dedicated affordable housing products as it relates to for sale that are very user-friendly, shall we say, that don't require liens and engineering reports and so on and so forth. And we do the typical investing, syndication of LIHTC, new markets, historic. So all your tax credit products solutions that we can offer also, as well as any type of agency financing, any HUD financing, those types of things. So we are as big or as small as you need us to be.
Great, thank you. And that's a great reminder about opportunity zones. It's a really impactful program for all of us to keep in mind. So Chris, over the last few years, PNC has been working with MEDA a good bit, and you've sponsored 6 of our rural sessions in our rural communities. Can you talk a little bit about the impact of this program and why PNC has been such a strong advocate of supporting our rural communities here in Maryland?
Yeah, thanks. That's a great question. So absolutely, we've been looking for ways to really support our rural communities in a regional way, I should say. If you think about challenges from an economic development perspective that our rural communities have, they're very similar to urban communities, but you don't have the density. There's a lot more windshield time to get from project to project. And if you think about our rural communities and the challenge that we have from a workforce of brain drain, but also from a small business migration, our rural communities have really been hit hard over the past decade plus, as it relates to economic development, attracting business, retaining business, growing jobs. So for us at PNC, our rural communities are just as important as our urban communities. They drive, economic output for the entire state. They create jobs. They educate our children, our families. So, rural for PNC is just as important as any other demographic. And with MEDA, the opportunity to actually meet regionally to hear what the needs are and then find ways to support the communities based on what they say the needs are, not someone saying that's what you need, is really important.
Great. So tell us a little bit about your plans and initiatives for 2021. What is the new year going to bring for you and for PNC Bank?
Yeah, well, first, I think we have to get through this dumpster fire of 2020. I think improvise and overcome has been everyone's mantra. If I think about our plans really moving into 2021 as a bank, we see need growing exponentially. If you think about what's happening in our communities, what we're seeing as it relates to the sheer numbers going on to the poverty rolls, the fact that going into January, a lot of the unemployment benefits going to dry up, the foreclosure and the eviction moratoriums, and it's going to take some time for the new administration, I think, to get policies in place. But in the meantime, families are going to be hurting, and there's going to be a lot of pain. So I see that first quarter for us being very, very busy and almost in a triage mode, I guess, more so than a proactive. And really, how do we help where we can support communities through the crisis until we see something from a federal level come into play.
Yeah, that's so true. Continuing to meet the needs in a very challenging economic time for our communities is really important. So, and it's a little difficult to know what 2021 will bring beyond all of that. So, yeah,
Hopefully we all get through purgatory, and come spring we have the vaccine, and at some point we're able to get back to some sense of normalcy.
yeah. Looking forward to that time.
Mhm.
So, tell us a little bit about how the economic development community can connect with you and your team.
Sure. So I would encourage anyone who has a project or a concept, or groups they're working with have a project or concept, to reach out to me directly. My contact information I can provide at the end of the interview, or Pam. Pam always knows where to find me. But I'd be happy to talk about whatever they're working on, even as a concept or developer, and at some point connect them with someone on the team. Typically, I would be that primary first contact, just to have a conversation to find out, what they're working on, what their ideas are, and then find the appropriate team member to connect them with. So we're always open. We'd love to find projects. We're open for business. We want to provide, capital. We know our communities need it. So if someone has a project or concept, or just want to talk, bounce some ideas off me, sometimes there's the best solutions that come from just a very informal, organic conversation about a concept. So always happy to connect.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Chris. Anything else you want to share with our audience today before we wrap up?
No, I would just say thank you. Thank you all, more importantly, for everything you're doing. It's been a hell of a year, and your services now are needed more than ever. So stay the course, get the wind at our sails, we'll get our rudder set, and just a big thanks for everything you do.
Great. Thank you, Chris. I really enjoyed chatting with you today, and we appreciate all that you do to help ensure that businesses and projects have that access to capital that's so critical and is going to be really important as we come out of this economic crisis and start to look towards a recovery. So thank you for that. And thank you to all of you for watching the video today and joining us. And I encourage you to learn more about MEDA at our website. It's medamd.com. And Chris, do you have a website that you would like to leave for folks?
Sure. If they want to check out pnc.com, www.pnc.com, there is if you search community development, it will pull up me as a local market contact and my contact information, and give more detail about what we do as a line of business.
Okay, great. Thanks, Chris. Have a good day.
Thanks, Heather.